Hello, my name is Constance, and this is the Yarning Over the Days podcast. I want to welcome any new viewers and also any returning viewers. Thank you for taking the time to come by and hear what I have to say all about my knitting, sewing, and crochet adventures. You can find me on Ravelry and also Instagram as Cleo, CLEOCMC. And I also keep a blog with the show notes, yarningoverthedays.wordpress.com. Well, I don't want to prolong the time, and I'm just going to go ahead and get started. The structure of the program will be the same. I'll begin with my finished objects, then we'll move into works in progress. I'll talk about the archive treasure for today, and we'll end with what's been catching my interest lately. So, it's actually been a while since I last did a podcast. I didn't expect to take a week break, but it's not surprising considering that I'm in school full time and working, and the time wouldn't allow. And I thought I was going to try to do it in the middle of the week, but that was a no-no. So I'm coming to you a week later. Well, still quite surprisingly, I have quite a few things to share with you. I thought I wasn't going to have much time to sew, but what I found myself doing is when I would finish reading or doing work or assignments, if I had like a break in between time, then I would say, oh, let me cut some fabric here and there. And then the fabric would be cut, and then I'll just, the next day or even that weekend, just sew the pieces together. So I ended up with quite a few things that were finished objects. And all of the finished objects are sewing related, but I'm still happy that I'm having this sewing bug, because I really want to build a handmade wardrobe, and slowly I've been getting rid of a lot of my things that aren't handmade out of my wardrobe. So it's exciting and also so rewarding wearing something that you've made every day. So let's get started with some of the staple items that I've been making. And I showed you two Agnes tops that I made. This is a design by Tilly and the buttons in the previous episode, and I told you I wanted to make a green Agnes top, and I also decided to make some more because they just go so well with my skirts, and I just think they look really nice with the high waist skirt and the look. So I did make a green version with the puff sleeves, and I really like this top. What I will say about this fabric, though, I think I was talking about the fabric last episode, and that I like that it's anti-peel and it has a really nice weight to it. And it does have a 4-way stretch, but it's such a strong, fabric. It feels kind of like scuba fabric. I can't describe it. Of course, it doesn't look like it, but I say all that to say that pulling it over my head is I feel like I'm putting on scuba gear. And so I found that with the green top and also the pink top, because they're both made from the same fabric. And I did go back to Joann's, and I thought that I spent $9.99 on this per yard, but it was actually $16.99 per yard. So I'm super happy that I had a coupon when I purchased it, but because I was going back and I was thinking about getting some more, but I was like, oh wow, I didn't know it was that high. But I am still really pleased with the top. I've worn it a couple of times already. I wore it with my pinafore dress. I really like how the puff sleeves pop out of that. It looked really nice. And I've also worn it with my Tilly and the Buttons Miette skirt. The Miette skirt with these Agnes tops is like a perfect match. I just like how it looks. So that's the green version. Then I decided to make a floral version. And like I was saying, I'm trying to build my wardrobe. So I have these jersey floral tops, one that's gray and one that's black. And they're all right, but they're not the highest quality. And I picked them up from a thrift store years ago. And so it's nice when I found this jersey fabric at Joann's, and it was actually in the children's section. And it reminded me of those tops that I would wear a lot, but it looked even better and I liked it more. So I decided to make a Agnes top with it. I haven't worn it yet, and I made it about a week or two ago, and I don't know why I haven't worn it yet, because I really like it. And I kept the pattern the same, except I did add that detail in the middle with the elastic, that little ruching. So that's that. Then I wanted to make some Agnes tops that were completely basic. Like, I didn't want to add any of the puff sleeve details or any of the ruching in the middle, and I wanted them to be staple colors. And the reason I didn't want the puff sleeves, I like the puff sleeves, but what I found is that it doesn't look good under my cardigans at all. And so I wouldn't wear cardigans with them. And as it's getting colder in these buildings and also nippier in the morning, then I found that quite annoying, because I don't like how the puff sleeves look under my cardigans. So I wanted some more Agnes tops in solid colors that had a simple sleeve that would fit nicely under my cardigans. And I also knew I wanted to keep the length here, because I wanted most of my cardigans, a lot of them are quarter length sleeves, and I think that's the perfect length for these sleeves. So I actually made a navy version of the Agnes top and also a black version, which I'm actually wearing. And this is the navy version. As you can see, it's a simple top. Like I said, I didn't do anything, but I really had to force myself to work on this, because I'm happy I finished it. So happy, because I know I'm going to wear it a lot, but it is so, I just find it kind of boring to work with such dark, solid colors. And so just looking at the fabric, it wasn't very inspiring, but I'm so happy that I did it. I found the fabric at Walmart. It was a really good price. I don't know what it was, but you know, Walmart's fabric is usually no higher than $4.99 per yard. So it probably wasn't even that, but I found it at Walmart, and I thought it'd be perfect for a staple Agnes top. And the last Agnes top that I made is what I'm wearing today, and it's a black version. And this fabric was purchased from fabric.com, and it's Ponte de Roma. And again, I kept it simple. Nothing on the neckline, and the sleeves are simple and basic, but I like it. Yeah, so I just think it's perfect. Again, same thing with the navy. Really wasn't inspired to work on it, but once I got going, then I got it done, and I'm so happy that I have it done, because it just works with a lot of every one of my skirts, actually, I think. And so I think it'll be a great layering piece also as the weather gets colder. So those are my Agnes tops. I will try to insert some pictures of the tops, but I haven't, I've only worn the green top, and this is my first time wearing the black top. But I'll still try to get pictures taken, so I guess I need to at least try the tops on, or put the tops on for the sake of the pictures, so you can get an idea of how they look. And I'll insert those here. Okay, so I then wanted another staple garment for my wardrobe, and I wanted another Hollyburn skirt. And of course, I like to make my Hollyburn skirts in solid colors, and I like to make them in denim, but I wanted a black skirt. And so I purchased this black denim from fabric.com, and I made the Hollyburn skirt. Hold on a second, let me get the packets, the pattern. I'm back. Okay. Yeah, so this is the package for the Agnes top. It's Tilly and the buttons. And both of these versions have the puff sleeves, and this has the little ruching detail in the middle. But if you look on the back, it does have where you can shows the version where you can make it plain, and I made it plain. But of course I kept the sleeves short. So back to the Hollyburn skirt. I made version A, which is the longest version, but I put the button tabs on that version because I like that feature a lot, which is obvious because I've made quite a few Hollyburn skirts now, and I like to use the button tabs on. I used it on version C, version A, and of course version B. And so I made this denim skirt, and it's really nice. And it's basic, it's black. And I wore it to an event, the annual literacy awards. And yeah, I wore it to an event and also to work that day. And I wore it with my black and white polka dot Agnes top. And I received so many compliments on my outfit that day. And also I wore with my black and white tassel Ouija loafers. That's Ouija's. And so it was a really simple outfit, easy to put together, but I received quite a few compliments as I was walking through the campus and also at the event. And so I was like, that's nice to know that such a basic black and white outfit, it was nice and I liked wearing it, and it also went over well with a lot of people. So of course I'm going to get a lot of wear out of that skirt. It's black and I like the weight of it because it's that denim. So I'm excited. I was excited to finish that. And I made that skirt on my 1973 Sears Kenmore machine. I think I mentioned that I picked it up from the shop, and it's been working like a dream, and I really enjoyed working with it. The zigzag stitch does work, but I like my zigzag stitch on my brother's sewing machine much better than on the Sears Kenmore machine. So whenever I make the Agnes tops, because you use the zigzag stitch with jersey, I use my brother's sewing machine for the Agnes tops. But I like the strength and the power behind the Sears Kenmore, especially since I was working with a denim that was medium weight. Medium to heavyweight maybe. Not really heavy, so yeah. And so I used the Sears Kenmore and it worked perfectly. It was wonderful. So that's that. And this week, I had one of those nights where I got off work and I was finished with everything and I was just kind of had some downtime, and I decided to cut some fabric. And I made this skirt. Yes, this print is the Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. I saw it in Joann's last Sunday, and I liked it so much. I just liked it. Not only is the Starry Night just beautiful, but all of the colors are just colors that I really like. The yellow, the green, and then the blues. And so I knew that even though it's it's definitely a novelty fabric, but I thought that it would still fit seamlessly into my wardrobe, and it does. I can wear it with black tops, I can wear it with my green tops, my yellow cardigan, white shirts. It just works with a lot of things, and I'm so happy I made it. So I like the fabric, and I had no idea what I was going to make with this fabric. I didn't want to do a Hollyburn skirt because with the Hollyburn skirts you cut the center, and I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the design. So I then thought about Tilly's book, and she had this pattern, and it's not really a pattern, it's more so instructions to create a rectangle skirt with a gathered skirt. And so it's this here, and it's the Clemence skirt. And so I thought of it, and then I pretty much I had some drawing paper, and I just cut out the rectangles according to the instructions, and it's only 3 pieces. You have the front, you have the back, and wait, was it 3? Well, yeah, it's 3 pieces, but of course with the back you cut out 2 pieces. But it's 3 pattern pieces, and then you have the waist. And I like this because I got to try out my invisible zipper skills. It's showing a little bit there, the zipper. But for the most part, I'm very pleased with the invisible zipper. And I made this using my brother machine, and I like my concealed zipper foot on that machine much better than the concealed zipper foot on my 1973 Sears Kenmore machine, and I'll talk about it more in another project where I had to do an invisible zipper and I used the Sears Kenmore machine. But it gives me more control with the brother zipper. And other than that, I really like it. Oh, and this project, this is my first time, even though I sewed a lot, this is my first time doing French seams. And I thought that it was really simple yet so clever, and I think it looks really neat. So, yes, can you see? And she had clear instructions on how to do that. So it's a simple gathered skirt, and I really like it. And I think in the summer, I would like to make one in a longer version in a flowy type fabric. I'm not sure what, and I think it'll be really nice. And so, yeah, that's that. And then I wanted to make a couple of more dresses that had a heavier weight. Not really heavy, but you know I love corduroy dresses. And did I show you all the corduroy fabric that from last episode? I purchased it from fabric.com, and it's no surprise, but I'm using Simplicity 2444. Again, I'm losing count of how many times I made this pattern. Okay. I don't know if I made 8 dresses with this, or if this makes 10. I really don't know. I'm going to stop counting. Let's just say that I like this pattern, and I don't see myself not making it in the future. It's just a good go-to pattern, and I really like how it just works with the corduroy. And I purchased some floral corduroy from fabric.com, and I really wanted to finish this because I wanted to have a fall dress. Oh, and also I will try to insert pictures of the Hollyburn skirt and also the Clement skirt here. But back to this dress. I wanted a fall dress. And they have quite a few novelty type fall fabrics in the stores now, which you've probably been seeing with the leaves and maybe pumpkins featured on it. And I think they're all adorable and wonderful, but I think that they're so specific to fall that I didn't want to get that type of fabric because I want to wear my clothes, of course, throughout the winter and throughout the year. And I thought that this was a great compromise because it has the oranges and the golds in there. Yeah, I think it'll still look good year round. And I really like the zipper on 2444 because you get the it's exposed. So I went with the orange zipper. And I haven't worn this dress yet, and I still need to get pictures of it. And I will try to do that, and I will try to insert the picture here. But that's it for this dress. I kept everything exactly the same. I went for the pleats in the front this time. You know, sometimes I do a gathered skirt, but for some reason, whenever I do use the corduroy fabric, I like to do the pleats. And the pleats turned out really beautiful. And then I also made another same thing, Simplicity 2444, kept the pleats, and this fabric has little pink flowers, and yes, it's really nice and versatile. And it looks really great with my pink heady cardigan, and I just like that combination a lot. I wore it to church last Sunday, and it was just, yeah, it's just a staple signature Constance outfit that I just feel completely comfortable and put together in. And so I'm so happy that I finished those. And I finished these not too long after the previous episode because Hurricane Irma came and classes were canceled for that Monday. So I had some time, and I remember cutting the fabric. Okay, my necklace. Okay. And I remember cutting the fabric and what is it? I had time and to just create those dresses, and I created them over a span of like 3 days. And one of you all suggested that whenever I'm making the same pattern, and if I was making the same pattern and using the same threads, to just do everything back, create the dresses at the same time. So I did create the dresses at the same time. Like I would do the bodice, and then I do the bodice. Like every step, I'll just say, yeah, every single step, I would do it on one dress and I do it on the other. And it was really nice because near the end, I did have 2 completed dresses at the same time. But I do feel like, I don't know, I just felt like it was moving really slowly. And like I said, I actually finished the dresses over 3 days. And I don't know why I was moving slowly with it. Because as you know, one time I created, those 3 dresses over the span of 3 days. And that was 3 dresses. Whereas this was 2 dresses. And yeah, it just took a while. But I'm really happy. I was happy with the end result because when it was done, I had 2 dresses. So that was a nice feeling. And so my next sewing project is actually, this was a spur of the moment purchase. I was in Joann's. They had simplicity patterns for $1.99. And simplicity patterns don't go on sale as much in Joann's, or it feels like it with me. Every time I go, it seems like there are Butterick pattern sales and also McCall's pattern sales. And I like simplicity. I don't know why I like them the most, but it's hard to find their patterns on sale. So when they had this sale, I made sure to stock up. And I saw that I think this is a new pattern because it's for their 90th anniversary, it says here. And it's quite different from what I would usually wear, but I really like this version C. And I don't know, something about the pattern just caught to me. And so I purchased it. And I thought it would sit in my stash maybe for a while, maybe I'll work on it. But then one night I was just browsing through my patterns and I saw that, I was reading the back and I saw that this dress only used, version C only used 1 7/8 yards. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's like less than 2 yards definitely, and I should have some fabric in my stash. And then I remember this fabric that I purchased over the summer while I was back home in Alabama at the Joann's with my parents and my sister. And I really liked the fabric because it's floral, and I'm crazy about florals. Who isn't? And it was green. And so it's like 2 things I love just together, and I just thought it was perfect. And so I only purchased 2 yards of the fabric. And so I thought that it would be perfect for this pattern. And I really like the dress. It's a drop waist dress. That's what I'm saying. It was quite different from what I would usually wear. But I wore it on Tuesday to work. And oh my goodness. And I wore it with a white collared dickie under it. And it looked so nice and so put together with my black loafers. And I just really liked also how comfortable it was. I mean, my dresses are really comfortable anyway. But I guess the drop waist, it was just like, I thought the Bettine dresses were comfortable. But that dress was even more so comfortable than the Bettine dresses. So I'm thinking I want to make maybe one more version of that dress someday. And maybe in a solid color like black. Just because I think it'll be a great dress to just throw on those days where you want to be put together, yet you want to be extremely comfortable. Like I don't know. It was just roomy in the waist area, and I liked it. And it's such a simple dress to make. Okay, you just cut out the front. It only has 2 darts here in the front. Then you have the sleeves. Of course, I had problems with both sleeves. I don't know if this happens to anyone else. When I'm sewing the sleeves, then I would end up grabbing another section of the sleeve by mistake when I'm inserting them, and it would cause this kind of ugly pleat that I just hate. And then I'll take out the seam ripper and take it out, and then I'll usually just stitch it again and smooth it all out. And that happened with both sleeves this time. But I fixed both of the mistakes, and the sleeves are beautiful. And I like the gathered little skirt at the bottom. I like that a lot. Now, the only thing I don't like about this dress is my invisible zipper. It's not invisible at all. I made this dress using the 73 Sears Kenmore machine, and I used my concealed zipper foot, but it just, felt like I didn't have much control with it. And maybe it was just me, but I don't know. If I create this dress again, I think I'll use my brother machine because I like that concealed zipper foot much better. But that's something minor. And at the time, I was thinking about ripping out the zipper and doing it again. Then I just was like, I'll wait and see if it really bothers me. And after a while, it just didn't bother me enough to take it out. And I just figured this was just an easy, quick pattern. And it's supposed to be an easy, just quick dress to throw on. And so it's no biggie. So yes, and I also like that version D. It's kind of cute. But again, it's quite different from what I would usually wear, but I still kind of like it. And they use Ponte fabric for that. And yeah, I just think it'll be kind of like, what do they call them? Secret pajamas. I think that the Ponte fabric would just make it really comfortable. I think it'd be a perfect Saturday dress. So that is it for the finished objects. They were all sewing objects. Oh no, that is not it. I forgot. I finished this retro headband, which is a free tutorial from Abby of the Crafty Pinup, and you can find her YouTube channel. It's called The Crafty Pinup, and she's amazing, and I love her videos. I'm always looking at them, and she's so inspiring. And I also appreciate her stitch by stitch videos. And most of the pattern purchases that I've made, a lot of them have been inspired by Abby, because she has a knack for choosing the best patterns with the best fabric. And so she created this tutorial for a retro headband. And let's see, can I try it on? I don't want to mess up my hair. But I liked it a lot, and I was creating a holly. Okay. So I was creating a holly burn skirt, and I had some fabric left over, and I felt that I remember Abby's tutorial, and her version was actually a black and white gingham also. She created some other versions, but that's probably what made me think of it. And I thought, oh, I think that'd be great to make a little retro headband that I could wear sometimes. And this is it. I don't know, I just tied it on, so it probably doesn't look right, but that's just to give you an idea of how it could be worn. And yeah, so I finished that, and she just gives you the instructions, and I was able to just cut it out on some drawing paper and create the pieces for it. And she also suggested wearing it as a neckerchief, which I've never worn. I've worn scarves around my neck, but not a neckerchief. So I don't know how it would look, or if I would wear it, I don't know, like that. Or yeah. Okay, so yeah, you have to just play with it a bit, but I'm pretty pleased with this quick and fun project. I mean, you can literally create it, and I feel like saying 15 minutes is too long because it didn't take that long at all. And so just a fun, quick little project that I'm very pleased with. So I also will move into works in progress, since I was talking about this. I'm working on another holly burn skirt, as you can see, in gingham, and I made version B. And version B is the kind of mid-length version, not the longest length, not the shortest length, but in the middle. And instead of doing the button tabs, which is on version B, I actually went for the belt loops that are featured on version A. And I really like the belt loops a lot. And so it's not finished. I still have to do the hem, but for the most part, it's done. Maybe I'll complete the hem tonight if I'm in the mood after I complete. I have a lot of readings to do for my classes, and so following that, if I feel like doing the hem, then I'll complete the hem. And then that would be this dress. Not dress. This skirt will be done. So yeah, and that's it for works in progress in terms of sewing, but I do still have some things on my knitting needles. I mentioned that I was working on a cardigan for my classmate's daughter, and she just turned 1, and I'm making the Harvest sweater by Tin Can Knits. I've made a little progress, but I haven't, as you can see, I separated for the sleeves, and I'm on the body portion. And that's all I've done so far on it. It's a nice, really easy project. It's just I haven't picked it up much. And I've been carrying it around in my book bag, hoping I would get some time to knit in between classes like I did the previous semester. But that hasn't been happening because I've been at work, and then I would go from work to class. And usually I might have a few minutes in between, but we've been having group meetings before classes. So I've just been carting it around in my book bag, but haven't been working on it much. And I've also been working on my Vivian sweater, which is a pattern from the Sweater Girls book by Rita Taylor, and I always forget the other author's name, but I'll put the information in the show notes. And I wanted to finish this sweater by fall, but I didn't, because the first day of fall was what? Friday? This past Friday, the 22nd. But this is where I'm at on the sleeve so far. So now I need to do the shaping for the sleeve. I've worked it even, and now I need to do that shaping, and then I'll be done with the first sleeve, and then I would just need to do the second sleeve. And I hope to get more done on it. And I haven't even been, usually when I work on this, I like to watch my knitting podcast, those knitting podcasts that I'm subscribed to, but I haven't even had time to do a lot of that. So I haven't been watching as many of the knitting podcasts as I typically would. And so I didn't get as much done. But I'm still pretty pleased, because when I think about it, I'm almost done with the sleeve, because they're not long sleeves, they're short sleeves. And then I would have one more sleeve to go after this. Then it will just be a matter of blocking it and seaming the pieces together. And so I know that it can be done. It's just, I just have to find time to do it and put the sewing machine away, and instead pick up the knitting needles more. And that shouldn't be a problem, because it's funny, because I actually put my sewing machines away. After I created those 2 corduroy dresses, I actually packed up both of my machines and literally put one in the closet and one kind of in the storage area space. But then when I ended up having some free time, I brought out the sewing machines, because I wanted to include some staple items such as the black Agnes tops and the navy blue Agnes tops. And I was only going to do the staple items, but I ended up having a bit more time, and as you can see, I made quite a few things. So the sewing machines are back out. But I plan to actually decrease my sewing significantly, and I'm going to focus on one big project, which is the perfect time to talk about now. It worked, so that was a nice transition. So I've been wanting a vintage coat since forever. Really, I've been wanting a 1950s style vintage coat, which I have a pattern for. And I talked about it on Instagram. I participated in the Sew Photo Hop Challenge. And I talked about a 50s style coat that I've been wanting, because I've been wanting a 50s style vintage coat for years. I go thrifting a lot. And I've searched thrift stores, and even if I would find some that looked nice, they were too big. They just didn't fit me. And so I even looked at Etsy shops, and they were perfect, but they were overly priced, and I was not willing to pay that much. So I was looking at, when I started sewing more, then I found the McCall's 1950s pattern of the coat. And then recently I saw this 1960s style coat. And this is Simplicity 1197. And And I thought that this would be perfect. It just looked more simpler or easier than the 1950 style coat, and I still thought it was really elegant and ladylike and versatile, and I just really liked it. So I decided that this should be my first coat that I create. So of course I went to the internet and I started searching, trying to see who created this coat before, and a few versions were out there, and most people use wool. But there's this, I forgot the blog name, and I follow her on Instagram also, and I love her stories on Instagram. Why did I forget? But she creates the most beautiful garments, and she is actually located in Durham, North Carolina. And remember, I used to live in Durham. I lived in Durham for 2 years while pursuing my master's degree. So I know the weather in Durham, and she made her version in a cotton twill, and it looked so beautiful, and it was just perfect. So when I read that she used the cotton twill, I thought that would be nice, because then I could get more wear out of the coat, because South Carolina, it doesn't get freezing cold, but you might get a chill in the air, and so I still would need a jacket. And so I think this fabric would be perfect to create a jacket, or a coat, not a jacket, but a coat in which I could just throw on every day, and it'd be my go-to coat. So I went to Joann's, and I was looking for fabrics for coat, and I found this cotton twill, polyester / cotton twill blend. And I was only going to purchase, because the pattern, it only uses about 2.5 yards, or, well, no, this is 60-inch fabric. So really the coat only, 2.5 yards. And I only needed 2.5 yards. Oh my goodness. I had it on the floor, and of course little bits of thread is on the floor. But this is the fabric, and I just really like it. And it's green. They didn't have many colors in that section, and they didn't have many much selection, but they had green, and it was twill. That's all I needed. That's all I wanted. And so I was so happy. So I was just going to get the 2.5 yards, but then I started thinking I would really like to create the dress to go under the jacket, just because I just think that would be super chic to have a matching dress and a coat. So I decided to, I think I ended up buying 5 yards, because even though that's probably more than I need, but I wanted enough to create the dress to go along with the coat. But I'm still just going to focus on the coat for now, and I'll create the dress whenever. It shouldn't be too hard. It doesn't look hard. It looks simple. And so this will be my first coat, and I was thinking, oh, this was easy. And it's a work in progress, because I did pre-wash my fabric yesterday. And also, I picked up the lining for the coat, and Joann's has actually a pretty nice selection of coat linings, I guess because of the season that we're in, and it's getting cold outside. So they had like this really large new stock, and I was actually thinking about choosing a black and white polka dot lining. They had white polka dots with a black background, and I was going back and forth, and I went with I felt that the plaid looked really nice against the green, and I was still going back and forth even after I purchased it. But then I looked at it and I thought about it, and I actually am really pleased with this choice. So I'm staying with this lining, and I like it a lot. And I purchased my interfacing for it. And finally, I found these lovely buttons, which are so sparkly, for the coat. And the coat only has 4 buttons. And so I was reading the instructions for the pattern, because I wanted to get started, and then I saw something. I was reading the pocket section, and I was like, what in the world is this? And it was welt pockets. I'd never heard of welt pockets before, and the instructions were so vague in this pattern, and I was like, oh my goodness. But I still just love the coat. And the blogger that created this version of the coat in that pink twill that I was telling you that's located in Durham, North Carolina, she just omitted the pockets. And the coat is absolutely stunning and gorgeous and elegant and has this just streamlined effect. But I was thinking if I make a coat, I really, really, really want pockets on the coat because a coat has to have pockets. That's just my thing. It's just, you have to have pockets on a coat. So I looked at a YouTube video about welt pockets, and it helped a little with the clarification of what exactly I was going to have to do. But there's this point where I have to kind of cut the fabric and tuck the pocket in. It's hard to explain. Just thinking about it makes me nervous. So I asked for advice on Instagram, and quite a few people responded that I should just pretty much practice with the same fabric of the coat that I'm planning to use for the coat. And that's perfect because I ended up purchasing 5 yards of this fabric, so I have plenty to practice with. And then also I asked for some advice from, it's hard for me to say the name of this blog. I think it may be French and I don't speak French, but it's Rue des Renards, or her Ravelry name is Tassadit Knits. I'll put the link in the show notes. But I asked her advice on welt pockets also, and she suggested the same thing, that I practice on scrap fabric. But I was asking for advice for another project, a jacket that I want to make, the Lupin jacket by Deer and Doe. And I placed the order for that pattern, which is coming in the post, and it's a crop, lovely jacket that I think would be perfect year-round. Pretty much, it may carry me, not in the hot summer, but throughout spring also. And so I asked her advice and she responded. So I'm not as nervous about tackling welt pockets, but if you all have any suggestions also, then I take that also. But the consensus from everyone is that I need to practice on some extra fabric, the same fabric that I'm going to use for the pattern. And someone also told me that I need to make sure to trim down the seams because she said it could get quite bulky. So I have to keep that in mind also when I create these pockets. But other than that, I think that's going to be the biggest challenge on this coat. But it's a challenge I'm willing to take because I just like this coat so much. And another thing, the crafty pinup, Abby, the same YouTuber who tutorial I used for the retro headband, she is actually creating this same pattern. And she told me, she responded to my post on Instagram and said that she's going to have a stitch by stitch video out in early October. That made my day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the pieces for the fabric, and I'm going to create up until the point that I'm comfortable with the welt pockets. But then I'm going to wait for the stitch by stitch video from Abby just to see what she says about the welt pockets. So I'm just going to work at a comfortable pace. So this project is getting all of my attention for probably the next couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know how long it takes to create a coat. And this is my first coat. So we shall see. Okay, just checking my notes here. Oh, we're almost done. And now we'll talk about the archive treasure. This is nothing new to you. I've shown it on the podcast before, and it was a part of my outfit along, Andy Satt's outfit along, and Ladybird also hosted it. And I wore it today to church. And so because it's been done for a while, it's now archive treasure. And I like that I'm actually wearing it because I did make a change to it. I was telling you when I was talking about the button placement, I actually had the button kind of on the inside, and I was kind of like putting the button there, and then I would attach it to the button out here. But when I was reading Andy's post about the button placement during the outfit along, I already finished my cardigan, and I found that I had put the both buttons should go on the outside, because she said, do you want to be able to switch it? Maybe I can wear it this way or that way, just to not put too much stress on one button. So I just took that button from the inside and I placed it on the outside. And so I can now wear it either way. And my skirt is also an archive treasure. It appeared last week, but I actually wore it today. And I think it's just a beautiful match with this cardigan. Yeah, it's the Holly Burn skirt. The fabric was this floral fabric from Walmart, as I stated in a previous episode. It was a gift from my sister. And as you can see today, I'm actually wearing it open. At church, I wore it closed because I thought it just looked more, I don't know, put together or elegant. But when I went and did some grocery shopping, and I also went to another errand I had to do, and I've just been wearing it open, and so it really works open. And I'm surprised that I actually really like it open. I think it's great for it in a relaxed environment. And so that's that. This cardigan, I will say, just to give you an update of how it's been wearing, I can't believe how much I wear this cardigan. It goes with like literally everything in my closet. And so I wear it quite a bit, at least once or twice a week. So it's nice to know that something I made is getting such a lot of wear. But I also think, oh, I really should wear more of my other cardigans, because I'm constantly reaching for this cardigan and my green Agatha cardigan. It's just, those two get a lot of wear, and maybe because they're green, and then a lot of things in my wardrobe has green in them. So yes, so it's been holding up well, and I really like it. So that's pretty much, I gave you an update on my Anaheim cardigan from the outfit along. And now I will move into what's been catching my interest lately. So Andy Satterland, my favorite designer, knitwear designer, she is hosting her annual fall knit along. I have participated in every fall knit along that Andy has hosted, except the fall knit along from last year. And that was the time that I was my first semester in my PhD program, and it was pretty intense, and I just wanted to be on top of things, so I did no crafting that entire semester. So I'm thinking I want to join the knit along this year, but I'm still on the fence about it. I don't know. And they're going to be knitting, the pattern is the Floral cardigan. I think that's how you pronounce it. And at first it was in Stranded magazine, I don't know, mild weather issue. Well, it was a pattern in Stranded magazine. And Stranded magazine, it goes out of print. I can't describe it after 1 year. And so I didn't purchase that issue. But I also really like that cardigan. And so Andy re-released the cardigan as a separate design. And that is the chosen design for the knit along. And she actually had us vote in the Ravelry group for Untangling Knots for which pattern we wanted to work on. And I didn't vote for Floral. I voted for this pullover that I think is just beautiful. I think it was the Christmas. She's created this pullover sweater that has a Christmas tree feature on it, and it has like this boat neck. I think that's what it's called when the neck is kind of stands up and it's folded down. Not boat neck, because a boat neck would be a slash, right? Well, if you know what it's called when the neck kind of stands up and then it's folded in and it comes around, kind of like what Jackie O used to wear a lot. It's very 60s-ish. Oh, why can't I remember? I don't know what it's called. But that's what I voted for. That's the pattern I wanted to create. But Floral won out. And I can see why, because it's a beautiful pattern. And so that's what they're knitting for this knit along. And I'm thinking I want to join, but I'm on the fence about it. But I have time to decide, because the knit along starts October 15th. And I think it ends in December. So that's a really good time, because the pattern has pretty much lace in the yoke section, and then the rest is just stockinette. And the reason I really want to join is because I really need a navy blue cardigan. I really wear navy blue quite a bit, and I like it a lot, but I don't own a cardigan that's navy blue. And I think it's such a staple, wonderful color. And so, let's see. I already have this stash yarn that I purchased in Raleigh, North Carolina, a few years ago, and it's a Plymouth yarn company. And well, this is the color, and it's a beautiful color, but it's 75% acrylic and 25% wool. And I have a lot of this yarn, about 4 or 5 skeins. And so I thought I could use this, but honestly, I just really, really, really want to use Quince and Company. And I would like to create my cardigan if I joined the knit along, and they're using their navy color, which probably is not going to show up in peacoat. That's what I want to use for the cardigan. So there's this one side of me thinking, oh, I need to use this yarn that's been in my stash forever. But then the other side is thinking, oh, I should create a cardigan that I would really love using a favorite yarn. And it's not like I would need that much yarn. It won't be a splurge because, of course, Andy's cardigans, they don't use a lot of yarn. So, yeah. So I'm leaning more towards ordering from Quince and Company if I join the knit along. But I'll let you know. I should have a decision by the next episode. Well, that's it for today. Oh my goodness. Yes, that's it for today's episode. A lot of sewing has been getting done in the past few weeks, and I'm not sure how much sewing will get done in the upcoming weeks. But thank you for taking the time to hear all about my crafting endeavors, and I look forward to seeing you all later. Bye!